Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Oriire podcast, the podcast that tells African stories. I'm Halima.
I'm Ceci, and today we have a really interesting and fun episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about Nigerian boarding school tales. So, all these spooky tales you heard about in boarding school, whether you had experiences with them, or you know someone who's did, or someone's cousin's brother, sister told you, let's all discuss it here today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Oriire podcast, the podcast that tells African stories. I'm Halima.
And I'm Ceci, and today we're going to be discussing boarding school tales, specifically Nigerian boarding school tales, all these spooky tales you've heard about, you know about, you might have experienced firsthand, secondhand, someone's brother, sister's cousin told you. Today we're going to talk about it all. And we have some special guests with us today. One of our guests is Renny. Hi, Renny.
Hi, Ceci.
We also have Miminah with us as well. Hi, Miminah.
Hi, everybody.
So, as the hosts and guests of today's podcast, we all have really important qualifications that qualify us to discuss this specific myth with you. My qualification is that I spent exactly one term in a Nigerian boarding school. I'm not even sure if it was a full term, but it was enough. It was enough to get the experience. And I promptly ran back home because I got like a rash. How about you?
My own qualification is that I'm a Nigerian because I didn't go to boarding school. So, Miminah, what's your own qualification?
Oh, I went to boarding school for 6 years. So from GS1 I was in boarding school.
Oh, wow. Renny, what about
How about you, Renny?
I went to boarding house or boarding school for like 5 years, thereabouts.
Okay, so Miminah and Renny are seniors in this realm.
Yeah. So what's the wildest, like, and we know the popular ones, Madam Koi Koi, Bush Baby, Baba Dudu. What's like your experiences with those? Like, which ones have you heard or which ones did you experience? Any of you can go first.
So I think the scariest rubbish spirit story that we heard in Dom was that if you go to the front of the mirror, because we had a mirror in school, like on our landing, like the block, like the row. So there was a mirror at the end. And so if you go there at 12 o'clock and you say, like you put powder on your face, then you're like, Madam Coin, Madam Coin, Kiniko. That somebody is going to come from the mirror and like drag you inside the mirror. So one time we're like very stupid when we like GS1 or GS2, we decided that we're going to try it and then see who they are going to carry out of us. Like, we'll use somebody. And then when they are coming out, we'll now run back. I don't know how we figured that we're going to run it. Then what do? We put powder on our face. Then we went. Oh God, that day was scary. It was not like anything actually happened. It was just the vibe. And since that time, like, even if you're coming downstairs, because it was like upstairs and downstairs, you're coming downstairs in the night, I used to just like take another route, so I don't even see the mirror or see the vicinity of the mirror. Till I was in like SS3, I was scared of that thing because that day was incredibly scary. They took the light when we were about to go and try our stunts.
But did you like hear any sounds or like what happened? You guys, okay, you put powder on your face, then what happened? Did you guys call Madam Koi Koi?
Mirror around that joint. Then they took the light. So in our own head, it was like, this thing's about to go down. We're about to disappear.
But why does it sound like somebody remixed Madam Koi Koi with Candyman and then just put this story together? Because as far as I know, yeah, that's the one. Madam Koi Koi doesn't involve mirrors. For I guess who don't know, by the way, Madam Koi Koi is, I would say, a boarding school myth. And basically it involves this lady who some say was a former teacher in, basically she was a teacher in every boarding school in the entirety of Nigeria and even Ghana as well. And the students chased her out of school because she like hit someone and then she got fired. She injured someone grievously. And then basically she died and her spirit came to haunt the school. And so sometimes the students hear like footsteps of someone in high heels making like koi, koi, koi sounds. And that's the myth of Madame Koi Koi. So basically she haunts boarding school students. But as far as I know, I never heard the mirror story attached to her. No,
that's
I'm saying this is the first time I'm hearing this.
mad.
Renny, what's your own like experience with Madam Koi Koi?
Madam Koi Koi, not so much, but then Mr. Man. I think that's what other schools call Baba Dudu. So we called him Mr. Man, in school. And
Mr. Man.
I heard, yes, Mr. Man. Yeah, I just started hearing Baba Dudu of recent actually. But then when you describe whoever this Baba Dudu is, same person as or spirit or whatever as Mr. Man. So Mr. Man is, for those that claim to have seen him, very short and dark, no, black, and he has very slimy body. And he goes through bars. Because we had gates, our gates had bars, and we just go through the gates. But then I just thought it was a myth. I didn't believe any of those. So I remember a classmate that I had in KS2 or 3. She didn't come to class and it was very weird. So we just thought she fell ill. And then we heard she was in the dispensary. So we went to see her during break and we heard that she got attacked by Mr. Man. So he, I think, cut through her pajamas and underwear and then she froze and then she started screaming afterwards and there was just chaos. So I know she went out of school for a bit because I don't know, she was just a bit messed up. So we started fearing Mr. Man, as in we knew that shit was real, afterwards. And okay, then I remember that we had night matrons that we brought into, or the school brought into school to stay in the hostels with us inside our dorms. So we had one on each wing. So they were supposed, I don't know, they were supposed to protect us from spirits, but anyways, they were there. And one could attest to the fact that she got attacked. And one of them said she tried to catch him, but he slid through the bars. So yeah, that's my experience. One of my experiences.
Oh wow.
One of those.
Yeah. So is the consensus that Baba Dudu is a real person or that he's a spirit or myth? What's the general thoughts about that, really?
I think it's a cross between spirit and a real person, to be honest. I think so.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Did you say you think he's a real person or a spirit?
I don't know. I think I said I think it's a cross between spirit and the person. I thought it was a myth at first, but then when ID had that experience, I just kind of knew that shit was real. Sorry, my language. And then I remember we had a night matron when we were in SF1 that we caught at the incinerator. She used to go and get used sanitary towels and all of those. So I don't know how we connected it, but she kind of was connected to Mr. Man, sort of. So I just know that that's the reason me. For real.
Miminah, have you had any experiences or heard about any experiences with Baba Dudu?
No, I have not heard of Baba Dudu before, so it's just today I'm hearing of it.
It wasn't something I heard about either.
There was other things like bunk shaker and some funny stuff like that they used to talk about in our own dorm.
Could you tell us what bunk shaker is?
Yeah, wait, no, let's finish Baba Dudu first before we move on to bunk shaker, because I was already like, ooh, what is that? But Baba Dudu, because we haven't explained to our listeners what Baba Dudu is in the first place, so exactly what's the urban legend surrounding this Baba Dudu is. So do you want to take it, Halima?
I'm honestly trying to remember what we said about Baba Dudu. I can't remember. I think Renny said something about him being really dark and stuff. Okay, so Baba Dudu is basically a man that's really dark, like she said, and he just I think personally, I think Baba Dudu is a pervert, honestly, and I don't think it's a spiritual thing. I think it's a real person.
Man.
Yes, I think it's a real
or a few men.
Some of the stories we saw, we found online, I just think he's someone that just goes into female hostels and then just does nasty things to girls. So basically, Baba Dudu just goes into female dormitories and then he just steals their panties or he cuts their hair or something like that. So that's the legend about Baba Dudu.
Strictly speaking, he's not exactly a myth. He's more like an urban legend because we firmly believe that it's real people doing these crimes, at least, and not spirits. But we all know that Nigerians prefer to attribute to the spiritual what can easily be explained by criminality and stupidity.
Yeah.
So let's talk about bunk shaker. What the heck is that?
But then I think we have to add Baba Dudu might also be like a spiritual person. Who knows? Like, we really don't know. We're just saying our opinion on it.
That's also true.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to bunk shakers, right? Okay, Miminah, tell us what bunk shakers are.
All right. So bunk shaker was like, in boarding school, you usually have bunks. So up bunk, down bunk. And then it's like in the middle of the night. Anyway, this was like a thing they used to do for juniors. If you're a senior, if you're already jassy, you know, and that thing cannot affect you again. But they will say like, shift make I sleep. Like one spirit can come to your bed in the night and be telling you like in your sleep, shift make I sleep. Shift make I sleep.
Yeah, I've heard of this one.
As you are sleeping. And then you won't know. You just wake up and see one spirit beside you. And then to be shaking your bunk if you don't like shift. Like to be shaking your bunk until you fall from your up bunk to the floor. That was like the whole myth of the thing. So it was just like a prank people used to do for themselves. Like people bought into the thing. So like your friends would just come to your bed and be telling you in the night while you're sleeping, shift make I sleep. Shift make I sleep. And usually if you are a deep sleeper, you probably start shifting.
Well, I've never heard of this.
They'll just like take your bunk until you fall down.
Renny, is your own version similar or is it different?
I didn't even know what it was called, but I've heard about the shift make I sleep thing. I've heard that before. Yes, I have.
Oh wow, interesting. Have you guys heard of what's this one? The woman that plaits her own hair that then she removes her hair.
My lady.
Yes. Oh, that movie. I saw in that movie Manifestation.
Oh my God, we were just talking about that because we saw the trailer, but we haven't seen where to watch it. Where did you watch it?
It was on Rock TV. On
TV.
Nice.
Yeah. I just saw it like 2 days ago.
Did you hear about it from boarding school though, or you found out about it from the movie?
I heard about it. I heard it was on a girl that had banging hairstyles. You know how you're just trying to experiment and explore, and they used to call hairstyles for us. So, and then someone said she went to the bathroom, to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. And then she opened one of the bathrooms and saw a headless person with her head on her lap, plaiting her hair. And yeah, I think the girl fainted. I don't know who found her. I don't even know how it went down. But
of course she fainted.
That's actually sensational. Wow.
She fainted when you say a headless person plaiting their own hair.
She so I don't know that she fainted. I would have gone into a coma.
I don't even know.
I said I'll leave the school. I'll even leave the school. There's no nowhere I won't leave. I don't know how she was able to tell us the gist or tell people the gist because this happened before I even got into school. I don't know how she was able to tell people the gist, but then yeah, that was it. And I heard she was in Purple House. So Purple House, the main house is where like SS1 to SS3 students usually are. And then junior students are in, extension 1 and all of that. I was in Purple House. So I was thinking, and I heard the story when I was in like JS2. So I was thinking, oh my God. So we're going to Purple House, main house. Maybe the girl will come back again and come back and catch us. I thought it wasn't even funny.
I can imagine.
Miminah, have you heard of this lady who plaits her own hair on her head, on her lap?
Yeah, I heard of it, but I've not had any experience of like somebody saying they've seen it or something like that in our own dorm. We never had that type of experience. Maybe the people that came before us, but my own set and the people I met, we didn't have any experience with that. We just used to talk about it like when you sit down with your friends and you're talking about like weird ghost stories. That was just it. But it wasn't like, oh my god, you guys, today I saw. No, it wasn't like that. It was just a story that we used to see in Dome.
This is sensational. This one in particular. And there's only one lucky girl who saw it in the whole school. Lucky or unlucky, as the case may be. I'm not sure which one to use.
Lucky.
What about bush babies, guys? Have you guys heard of bush babies?
Yes.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
Can you guys, just tell us what you know about bush baby?
Bush baby, what was the Yoruba word for them? I forgot what they called them. But there was a word that they used to say, like bush baby. Those short, tiny, midget creatures that carry mats around with them. And that if you collect their mats from them, they'll start crying. Egbere. That's what they call them. Yeah, and stuff.
Is that where Eku Egbere comes from?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that's true. Interesting.
They used to cry. They said they used to cry. So that was the Ekun Egbe. And that if you collect their mats, they will start crying or something will happen to you. And that they have like red eyes. So in the night, if you are going, you probably see them. Like if your hostel is close to a bush or something, you'll be seeing red, like just moving. That was it.
Renny, do you have like anything different or anything else to add?
Not really about bush baby. But just about their mouth and their eyes and how people actually use them for money. Money ritual. Yeah, I heard if you catch one and carry their mat or something, you make a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah, we saw we once saw like this story online. Ceci can't remember. Dog thing. Some people were looking for bush baby because they wanted money, and I'm like, interesting. They wanted to steal like the mat and stuff.
Yoruba movie things.
I know, right?
Speaking of Yoruba movies, actually, this is what I consider the most interesting part. I want to know you guys' memories or stories about, all those things that happen in Yoruba, not just Yoruba movies, but Nollywood, all the ones that one kid will come to school and share puff or biscuits. The next night, all the children are sleeping and flying in their sleep. Have you guys heard anything about this?
And all the akara ilekbo that they used to fry, that midnight markets, that's when you just meet yourself in the spirit world. That if you buy akara that they use epo to, like, like epo, the red oil.
Yeah, palm oil.
Buy that type of akara, that in the night you probably meet yourself in Kobe meeting. Because it's not oil, they probably used to fry it. Like, according to Yoruba movies, maybe it's blood.
It's blood, I
thought it was oil.
I don't even know that they can
fry something.
Yeah, how can they use palm oil to fry akara? I've never heard of akara fried.
Oh yes, like the yes, like they use palm oil to fry akara. It's weird. It tastes really weird. But
I've eaten it before, Sha.
Oh, I have. I've tried it. I didn't like it.
When you fly,
I didn't fly, unfortunately.
No, I haven't flown yet.
Okay, so what do you guys think the point of all these like stories are, like all these myths and legends? Do you guys think they have any significance for like boarders or like boarding school students, or do you think they're just for like entertainment, or do you think they're lessons to be learned from the stories?
I think it's for the seniors that like the OG people that have been in Dome. It's like so that you can haze the new people and like scare them and just get like enjoyment out of it because you've been there for long. They did it to you. Like those things that seniors do to juniors. So they'll just spread the stories so that you guys can freak out and you can like probably laugh while you're freaking out.
Renny, you were saying something as well. What were you saying?
I think that it's a little bit of all three because I know personally that I've heard this what's it called? When I was with Jess too, we had the basketball court very close to, my side of the hostel, my own wing. And I know for a fact I was hearing like people playing or a person bouncing a ball in the middle of the night, like legit. And I'll check out the window and I don't see anyone. I'll wake my bunkmate and I legit won't see anyone. But then she'll hear it too. And then after a while, would hear again and then it stopped. I think because of that, they had to move us from that extension, to another extension. So I think that especially federal schools, because of where they build these schools inside forest, this one is more than bush. I think that some of these things, I don't know if you know about genes and all of that. I think some of these things were already existing, and then people have come to bother them and disturb them. And then I think some of the stories are actually exaggerated too, just to scare people, as Miminah said.
You make a very good point, Renny. One of maybe our first ever episode was about jinns. And we had a guest who went to a secondary school in Nigeria, I think somewhere in the north, and she had experiences and she'd heard about experiences with jinns. And she attributed it to the fact that the school was built on, I think she said, an old burial ground or something like that.
Yeah.
So places like that attract spiritual and scary things, was her opinion.
Sure. I actually think it's true. Yeah. And there were a lot of things that went down. A lot of things. We even had somewhere called Red Village. So it was far away from our school field, but you could still see. It was a shrine, actually. And I remember some girl that just started walking, towards that area. And kept calling, she just kept walking. We had to get security. We had to get everyone, to hold her. I don't know where the stress came from, but she was fighting everyone. She was just walking like someone was calling her. It was a shrine, actually.
Oh my God! I would have immediately left that place. Like, what am I looking for? Somebody is walking, and nobody's calling. Anyway, I don't know. I agree with all of you guys. I think it is probably a combination of factors. So it might have something to do with a bit of like entertainment, a bit of actual human action. For example, like Baba Dudu. Then a bit of like, children just making up stories, maybe some level of delusion, and then also a bit of like actual unexplained happenings as well that, people can't really attribute to anything else. So which ones of these stories do you guys think are myths, and which one do you think are actual urban legends? As Emisi has prompted us to discuss.
Okay, I think
Baba Dudu.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that Baba Dudu is an urban legend because honestly, I think it's just real people painting their bodies black and doing rubbish things. But I think Madam Koi Koi, the fine lady one, which other one is there? Bush babies and stuff. I think those ones are myths. So
what do you think, Miminah?
No, I think most of them are myths. But what Halima said about the Baba Dudu one, yeah, that's probably like people like capitalizing on people thinking it's a spiritual attack when it's actually just some weird human beings doing weird stuff.
I agree with you. That Baba Dudu one is actually, it pains me because I know that like sometimes schools, they won't want to investigate what's happening. They won't want to look into it. They want to pretend it doesn't exist. This is a common thing with many establishments in Africa and in Nigeria especially. They won't want to admit that there's somebody breaking into their school and harassing students. So instead of that, they will just say, oh, it's spirits, and the children are just making it up, or it's ghost stories, or it actually is a spirit, and then they'll bring in a pastor or imam to come and pray.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of off topic, but I'm curious. Would you guys recommend people to go to Nigerian boarding schools? Personally, I'm scared of boarding schools, and I don't think anyone should go to boarding schools.
I don't recommend people to go to boarding school either.
I don't know what I say. I recommend going to boarding school actually, because you'll be able to meet like people that you otherwise will not be able to, like you'll be able to live with different types of people, like people that are not like your family, and normally you will not know how to tolerate, but like it helps you learn how to tolerate a lot of things and how to like see different perspectives. So it's not just you in your bubble, like you see like different types of people, and you will see like things that baffle you, like why are human beings like being like this? But it's like just trying to accept people, like, okay, it's not just me and how I do my own thing. Like there are different types of people and different types of people who do things differently. So it's like it helps you become more accepting of people, I guess. And it's fun.
This is a very
But
good point.
I think adulting does that to you, though. I think you meet crazy people in life. I don't think you need to learn that from boarding school. I just really don't like boarding school.
I've never thought about it
When you're
that way.
adulting, it's better to just start the process from small.
I kind of agree with Miminah in a way.
I disagree with Miminah in every way.
Miminah is changing my mindset. Do you know why? Because there are some people who like adulting actually doesn't teach them anything. I can tell you some people who went through life completely and they literally have no idea that, like, you know, there can be inconveniences in life, that sometimes things are not going to work, that they don't know. People are in their 20s, 30s, you know, living a charmed life, basically. They really have no idea what adversity even means. And once they experience it like this, they just break down because they've never had to even like smell it in their lives before. So it does play some sort of role with preparing you for adversity in the future. But then the thing is, I don't think that the way boarding schools are now, anyone should make their children attend, because, you know, some people come out of it having a great experience, and that's the truth. Some people come out of it being very happy, they made lifelong friends, they've learned really good lessons, they've built bonds, and then some people come out of it completely broken. You know, they've been bullied, they've been, you know, treated horribly, things have happened to them, and there's really no way to be sure of what kind of experience the person going will have. So it's better for you not to just send them at all, because you cannot, you know whether there'll be option 1 or option 2, and you really don't want to take that risk with your own child. I don't know.
Sorry, can I say
That's
something?
Yes,
go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is that I've actually seen like people go through boarding school with like those two types of experiences. There are some people like they find their crowd, they like bond with people, they like enjoy the whole process, things like that. And then there are other people that it was just like countdown, like, you know, when people are like scratching marks on the wall, counting down. That was how it was for some people. Like, I just want to leave. But at the end of the day, I saw like the two sets of people still had like growth. So the people that they made lifelong friends, blah blah blah, they bonded, they still grew in their own way. Like they learned more about themselves than if they were at home just by themselves. And the people that they did not enjoy boarding school, they still learned stuff. Like they still grew, even though the growth was not very enjoyable. They just still grew. Like they still came out more mature and more in tune with themselves than when they came in, just them and their own like small bubble and small idea of stuff. I don't know if that makes sense. That's just how I saw it.
It makes sense, but I don't know if I agree. Exactly. What do you think, Renny?
Yeah.
I think that it works both ways, to be honest. Boarding house has a way of shaping you and preparing you for adult life. And you're just more tolerant, you know. I have nieces and nephews, and I've seen those that have gone to boarding house, they're finished now, that did not. There's some sort of difference, you know, in the way that they act, you know, in their independence and all of that. I would recommend going to boarding house or boarding school. I don't know why I keep saying house, you know, just because of all of the things that Miminah mentioned. And my fear is not all of these myths and all of that. My fear is people they're going to meet. I think they're worse than these myths, you know, but I just think that it helps them or shapes them to be better people.
I completely agree with you that people are often worse than myths, and that's precisely why my thoughts are the opposite about whether to boarding school or not. Because
but you still meet these people now.
You will meet them, but sometimes you need to meet them in a position of power or in a position of where you're okay, not a position of where
you can't predict.
Because some people go to boarding school and they just learn how to become bullies and how to get away with it. Some people go to boarding school and they learn how to be bullied and how to tolerate it forever. And then also people go to boarding school and they're bullied and they learn how to bully the next people coming after them. So it just, in my opinion, it breeds good people, but then it breeds those three types of awful people or people with awful experiences. So either they are used to being bullied and they'll be bullied for the rest of their lives, or they are the bullies themselves, or they are eager to visit it on the next generation that like, oh,
that's just the way life is.
They will see something, and those people are actually the worst people in society, in my opinion. The ones that just can't wait to visit the oppression on like the ones coming.
I get what you mean.
Okay, so this has been a very, very interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Miminah and Renny, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
I've had so much fun just having this convo. Thank you guys.
So we have do you guys have any last words? Where can we find you? Where can we like follow you, reach out to you? Renny?
All right, so I'm the program director for Maria Kati Youth Foundation. We're in Kaduna. So you can follow us on Instagram at YC Maria Kati, or you can follow me at Morenike. That's MORE_NIKEE. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Miminah?
I don't have an Instagram account, so
which one do you have?
Business or anything you want to promote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The thing is still in the works though, so but it's a startup that I'm working on, and the name of the startup is Hummingbird. So yeah. And you can follow us on Instagram at _hummingbird. But I don't have a Instagram.
Alrighty. So we've come to the end. Yeah, we've come to the end of this episode. Don't forget to follow us and I think like this podcast and check us out. Check our website out at www.oriire.com. Yeah.
And that's ORIIRE. Also follow us on social media. Our Twitter is Oriire_Africa. And our Instagram is the same, I believe.
Yeah.
And we would love to hear from you. So if this episode was not enough for you, you have some things you want to add, you want to tell us your stories, honestly, we want to hear it because we really love hearing about things like this. If you want to come on an episode of the podcast and tell us your story, someone else's story, or you have an idea of what we should talk about next, we would also love to hear from you. So you can message us on social media. You can go directly on our website to contact us. And watch out for new episodes.
Ada. Stacey wants Flavor to come on this podcast.
Yes.
All right,
we need to work on it, guys. Bye.
Bye.